Yeah. So Trey, have you heard much about the whole North Korea South Korea peace talks?
No. All I know is, I get on the New York Times app and read through the headlines,
Fake
and
news.
then don't read those articles. But like when I get on there for other purposes, like arts and leisure or sports or crosswords, I always make it a point to read all the headlines. That way I'm, staying informed. So I do know that they're having peace talks, and that for whatever reason Trump fucking had it in his head that he and Kim Jong-un were going to sit down and fucking hash stuff out. And then, surprise, motherfuckers! Kim Jong-un was like, yeah, I'm a lunatic. What the fuck are you talking about? Hello, hello. Welcome back, kids, to another episode of A Strong Disagree. This week we're going to be talking about that Trump beef, trying to figure out if we should go to war with the craziest of Koreas. I won't spoil it, but the answer is maybe. As always, if you dig our show, you can find us everywhere on the internet at A Strong Disagree. You can help us out on Patreon, get in the conversation on Twitter, leave crazy comments on YouTube. You know how to do the deal. I'm Trey. One of these dudes is Joe. The other one's with Dan. And kick back for the next hour or so. We're going to be not solving the world's problems, but we're going to be doing it in a classy way.
On another note for you, then, Trey, apparently, I was not following this at all during Obama's administration, but apparently Obama verbatim was like, and Trump's going to be able to maybe get some peace with North Korea because in about 2 years here, they're going to run out of food and money. And so they're going to need to kind of come to the table for negotiations. And so apparently, like, everybody even knew this was going to happen already. So even if he was successful, like, Obama apparently called him out on it, I guess, and, like, other politicians. I haven't read into the veracity of this, but it, like, kind of made me chuckle when I read it. So hopefully it's true. So if it's true, you should rub that shit in that guy's
I
face.
wish you wouldn't have said that to me. Oh,
Really?
yeah. That's the kind of shit that, like, really... That's the kind of shit that really gets my gonads when I see something like that. And it's like, oh, damn it. And I know that that's 13 levels behind any kind of a conversation that adults could have in public. You know what I mean? There's no way a fucking conversation is getting to that point. Or, like, much less considering it and, like, weighing it out. And much, much, much less beyond any kind of doubt that that's never going to change anybody's mind. So, yeah, that stuff really hurts.
No,
but
that's
okay,
true. That's
you
true.
couldn't have known that.
That's
okay,
true.
so we're saying Obama was like, yeah, don't worry about it. They're going to run out of food.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really, but that's not really that, like, earth-shattering an idea. Because, like, the whole time...
Wait, North Korea's gonna run out of food?
It's like,
Yeah,
what?
well,
They're not going to be able
So
to...
that's the thing, it's like...
Yeah.
It's like it's happened like 3 times now,
Right.
and it's always it's like back and forth. That's how politics works, and like it. I mean, like, it's just insane. Like the way it's being talked about is just fucking nuts. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm that type of person. I want to like. Do you guys remember me being like, yeah, Obama really solved that Afghanistan problem? Like, did I ever say that at any point? Like, I feel like the way people talk about it is insane. They're like, yeah, the stock market's great because that Trump guy. And then, like, they just stop thinking about the stock market. And it's like, do you even have your own opinions, or like, do you literally only have the opinions of the news? And like, I don't know. It's just a whole shit show. Anyway, we should actually talk about the thing that you guys wanted to talk about.
We should, but first, only just because you brought it up, and this is a public forum where I'll say it now, and because I say it all over the places. I've never heard you say that Obama solved that Afghanistan problem. I can't imagine any fucking scenario where the two of us would get there in a conversation that we had.
And this isn't like a left versus right thing. I know a lot of left people who say dumb shit like that, too.
Right. You were just saying that you're not the kind of person that would say that. Or right.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And certainly not in a conversation with me, because I would have been like, what? What the fuck happened? I just blacked out. What happened that we got here?
You just undid our entire friendship in a comment. What was that?
Is there a camera rolling? What the fuck? Are you talking to Ellen DeGeneres? But what I have said in public, and I'm sure that I've said to you, and have said, will continue to say a million times, is no, maybe like Obama didn't solve the Afghanistan problem. Definitely not. But that dude fucking killed bin Laden straight up. Like, whatever the fucking political bullshit that's happened over the last, like, the Bush presidency and then the Obama presidency and Trump, in the middle of all that bullshit, with all of the biggest fucking thing that of it all is, we definitely did kill fucking Osama bin Laden, but that was Obama.
Yeah.
And I just, like, fucking always just want to be like, man, that's my favorite. Remember when all that 9/11 shit happened and everybody was freaking out and everybody was fucking rallying about it, and you guys were still have the fucking flag sticker on your truck? And then remember when Obama was like, I'm gonna just fucking go in and kill that dude. How many years does it take? Let's just go find that dude and murder him. And then that's what they did. They literally went to his fucking house and kicked the door in and surely killed like mountains of people that were around. I'm sure everybody there, whoever isn't dead there, I bet people were just eating bullets. If the fucking if you're at bin Laden's house and the Navy SEALs kick the door in, you're definitely blowing your brains out, right? Because you know that whatever would happen if you were to live would be so much worse than anything that would ever happen to anybody. You're just gonna eat your own bullet. And then they just went upstairs and they like went to the room that he was at, and then they just put a bunch of bullets like right inside of him, and then they just drug his body out and fucking threw it in the ocean. Yeah. Why didn't we do that shit earlier? I don't know why we were waiting.
Didn't they extract him alive though?
No. They
shot
that dude.
They shot it
in
his face. There was like some controversy. Like I think along the lines of like conservatives saying he took away gun rights, which I just clearly did. Apparently he did. Apparently they also just shot some other guy, and like that's why they shot him. In the face.
I thought they actually made a point of like extracting him alive, verifying his identity, and then
they verified his identity by fucking doing that thing where you unzip the bag and somebody looks at it and you're like, that looks like that motherfucker, and then they just kicked him over the side of the boat. That was exactly how it went down. Yeah.
On a side note, Danny's way would be way cooler. Like,
my way is way more badass.
Yeah, if they had a video, like all the videos that the Taliban and like Hamas and stuff has made, where they just have Osama bin Laden and they're just like, tell us what your name is. Oh wait, tell us that you give up on the Taliban. Oh wait,
yeah.
Hey, we're using your guys' tactics.
Well, yeah, like the Saddam Hussein videos and pictures that came out were like so, like when they pulled him out of that hole, that had to be the worst. That's so much worse than just killing somebody. It's like, hey, motherfucker, we're gonna smile for the camera, dude. The only picture anybody's gonna remember after we tore all your statues down is this picture of you looking like the biggest piece of white trash shit. They just turned that shit into like an episode of Cops. They fucking put your white beater on, let's get out of here. And then they just hung his ass on TV. Yeah, that was way great. That's true.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check the parental advisory box for this show. It's cool. It's whatever. I didn't expect us to keep it clean. I think that's what did us in right there. We've been so clean.
We've been really good.
This,
and then we talked about the fact that dude got shot and kicked off a boat. Like 80%. I'm like 80% sure it was him. but I'm not 20%. I don't think like 20% that he's still alive. I think that it's possible that they found out that he died of a heart attack, and like the second that it happened, they kicked the fucking door in. They were like, "Oh fuck, he just died of heart. We gotta go shoot that dude." And they shot his dead body, and then drug it out. They're like, "No way, this asshole gets to die from just like some regular heart attack." I think there's a decent chance that happened.
Oh man.
What percentage would you give that, Trey?
Of him dying of a heart attack and them kicking it in? Yeah, 20%. 80% they killed him when he was alive. 20% he died of a heart attack.
Wait, what did you give the 9/11s? I don't even remember what the percentage was.
What did I give the 100% that 9/11 happened? I'm 100%. I believe
No.
100%. I'm one of the believers. I mean, if we're gonna put it out there, yeah, I believe that it happened.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah,
a good,
100. I'm
Strong
100%.
disagree.
Yeah, if I'm now considering that how often we talk like we know each other, but on a podcast where no one has listened to the other podcasts that we've made. In theory, like if this was their first one, that comment would be like, "Wait, this guy doesn't believe in 9/11?"
Dude, that's
like,
a call backwards.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
That's a
they'll
call
get it.
backwards in time.
Yeah, but who knows?
You got to
when they
listen
get
to
started.
all the shows before we release them in
Yeah.
order to get all the jokes. Is the best.
Yeah, that's actually no. That's exact. Yes, that's what I expect a true fan
Yes.
to do. Which
Hey, listener,
I don't
what
want.
are you doing?
I don't want any casual listeners to our podcast of three guys casually talking, recording it, and then putting it online casually. I don't want that. I want true diehard fans.
Expectations.
All right, so on to this.
Yes, go back and listen to the episode where I
questions.
talk about how I 100% believe that 9/11 happened. If you haven't already. 100%. 17 years after the
Okay,
fact,
okay.
I'm at 100%.
That's good. It took you a while to stay at 100%.
Yes,
From
yes.
the 100% you
From,
started at.
I believe 9:11 a.m. on 9/11 to
Yeah.
today. I've stuck hardcore.
Whew, okay, this was a rough open, guys. Let's speed along. Let's get to the. There's a whole Korea thing that you guys and you had opinions. Go ahead. Go.
Well, so I thought that the letter I heard read from Trump this morning was
The
odd
letter?
because he was like, "Wait, you're gonna say mean things about America?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Then
this
we
is how
can't
we're
have
doing
peace
this.
talks."
Ah.
And
Is
I mean
what
that
happened?
may not be an exact quote, but it's not a bad paraphrase. It's really I feel like that's
Oh,
fair.
I forgot.
It's not a bad
Okay,
paraphrase.
okay. The thing is that he pulled out of the meetings, right? That's the story.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna look it up just so I can do it verbatim. But are you aware of the fact that when the Golden State Warriors won last year's NBA basketball championship, that they were invited to the White House and that they decided they weren't going to go?
No.
Okay, yeah, so they, that's like a thing where like people go to the White House after they win titles.
No, yeah, I know
Right.
that for sure. And they were just like,
Yeah, but the hardest part now is that like 92% of the every single league is not white, so that's a
Right.
hard group to get to convince. And so the Warriors were like, "Yeah, we're not going." So then Trump was like, "Yeah, they're not invited to the White House anymore." And so after they said that, so here's
He's like
the
a fucking 9-year-old.
yeah.
It's so
Here's,
fucking awesome.
here's the official tweet from LeBron James. You bum. Steph Curry already said he ain't going! Exclamation point. So therefore, ain't no invite. Going to White House was a great honor until you showed up! Explanation point. So you bum, and that's a capital U, not capital Y-O-U, but the capital letter U. Bum. You bum. 1.5 million likes. So this is the second time then that somebody has shit has broken down and has been like, oh yeah, we're not doing this.
This is This is way more than the second time. I mean, the second time that we can recall off the top of our heads.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
what was the quote from it? Were you looking up the letter by chance? Or the Golden State Warriors quote?
I was just looking up the LeBron thing. Okay. But then when I saw it, I realized that I could have done it verbatim. From memory, because I forgot that "you bum" line. It's funny as shit. You bum. That's to the President of the United States. So what's the deal, though? What's the backstory on it, though? Why is they were going to have their meetings?
Well, so like they keep on the administration can't get their story straight. They keep on like misspeaking and like saying like, yeah, we want to follow the like Libya format or the Libya convention where like you take away their nukes and they give them up, happily, and then, the part they leave out is like 3 years later the dictator gets overthrown by his people because they're no longer afraid of him, which is like the part that Kim Jong-un really doesn't like.
Right, the end part.
So they keep on mentioning this part that like keeps on pissing them off, and then they of course respond because that's what they do. Like, I'm not sure what we're expecting them to do. Even in the best of circumstances, we should expect them to speak bad about America right before they come to peace talks with us, because that's kind of their modus operandi,
Right.
That's how they play poker. So, I mean, I don't know. It seems so weird to me that they're just like, wait, you're going to call me names? No, fuck you. No peace for millions of people and food. No. I'm not even interested in that anymore. I mean, I don't like the guy, but I was still like, yeah, I'm glad that peace talks are happening.
Yeah.
Like that's a good thing, no matter what.
Yeah, I did look, and it says the quote is, "This missed opportunity is truly a sad moment in history." Trump cited North Korea's tremendous anger and open hostility in recent public statements as the specific reason for canceling the meeting. That last part is pulled from...
They called us names.
Whoa, you're talking shit?
He did look...
Bro, we're bailing, bro.
he did look like really hurt when he was walking out of the room, though. Like, I don't know if you guys like I know he's an orange sad puppy dog, but he's still a sad puppy dog. So I had some empathy for the guy. I was like, oh, sorry, bud.
Yeah. I believe this is a tremendous setback for North Korea and indeed for the world, Trump said. If and when Kim Jong-un chooses to engage...
I am so dramatic.
If and when Kim Jong-un chooses to engage in constructive dialogue and actions, I am waiting. They want to do what's right, Trump said. I really think that they want to do, and it was only recently that this has been taking place. Just right at the end there. It's always the right at the end there. They want to do what's right. They definitely don't. For sure they don't. As long as they've been around, like from the beginning, they definitely don't want to do what's right. It's only recently that this has been taking place. That's also untrue. It's like pretty much from the day one North Korea has not fun. God damn it. Well, it's not that sad because I had no faith that was going to happen. Right. Are we? Yeah. I mean, did anybody?
Yeah.
Did anybody
we all
really
thought
think,
they were going to get canceled
right.
at the last minute when someone killed a fucking hostage or something.
We did get
no
we
one
did
really
get 3 hostages.
Oh wait, now there's peace in that corner of the world now. No, that doesn't happen.
No.
At least not in my experience.
My thought from the outside was one possibility was that they had hit some kind of a plateau or impasse in their nuclear development where their game was up, and then they'd be like, all right, we'll stop, pretending like they're stopping when really they just hit the end of what they could do, if that makes sense.
It sounds like that was what a lot of analysts were saying.
Oh, is that
happened,
okay?
So.
They kind of accidentally destroyed their own nuclear test facility. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think they blew one up recently.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
okay.
Yeah, even if they hadn't, they were really low on money. Which I just want to point out, the fact that we know stuff like that is like, it's not mind blowing to me, but it's like, it's kind of crazy. It's just like, we know exactly how much money they have for nukes. Like, we're like, yeah, I mean, like, our analysts are like, yeah, they're going to be out like on Tuesday. Like, they're going to have spent all of it. Like, we've looked at their banks. They've got like $12 million. They just bought a $10 million nuke on the black market from China, and so they get. I mean, it's like, how do you know the numbers? I don't understand.
Yeah, I like that they do though.
Yeah, it's great.
Even sometimes when it's scary, I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad that they do. Yeah, so that happened. They blew up their site. We're gonna shut it down. Yeah, they blew up their site and they're running out of money.
Hey guys, so you want to be done? Bail?
You just
yeah.
It makes sense. Like, he always broadcasts his speech to his country, so like,
Yeah.
even if he did want to, like, you know, go about it reasonably, like, he's got to lie to his people still.
You can't
'cause
just
he's-
like bold-faced lie for 30 years, right? Like, tell everyone in your country every day that these people are like evil, cannot be trusted, and then like one day just be like, no, we're gonna sit down and talk with them, peace talks.
I don't know.
Everything's fine.
Maybe, especially when those people have no choice but to be.
Oh,
like,
I'm
okay.
sure they would be, but like, maybe he's just worried about breaking the narrative. Like,
You
he's
think?
like, well, I gotta give him some continuity here. You know?
Yeah, of course. Like, yeah, the whole thing.
God.
The whole thing never made a ton of sense. On a serious note, though, I did think how it's been like 2 months or something, right? Since they were gonna. It's been this year, right? Recent. Yeah, sometime this year.
Yeah.
It's been
I
real
forget what
recent.
month it
He
is.
literally was pulled into like a side meeting and asked, "Hey, do you want to take part in these peace talks?" And he was just like, "Yeah."
He was like, "Who?
Sure."
Kim
I
Jong-un?
mean, that reverses years of foreign policy
Yeah, fuck it.
precedent by our country. But
What
sure,
could- what could we
No,
lose?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so I did think, kind of in the beginning of that like, I was wondering what's worse, them having nukes and us getting it, like, us getting into a fight with them and maybe undoing that, like, unraveling this tension, this, like, worldwide tension between those of us that have nukes, and just, like, letting what's happening in North Korea continue to happen. Like, isn't it weird that it's just
Yeah,
happening there? Like, and we're just like, this,
Yeah.
it's real fucked up. Like, it's weird that we're having a conversation about the two of them meeting. How does it not happen that the two of them meet and then we just shoot that dude, or just at least, like, take him into custody?
I think it's just that we've done that so many times, and it also doesn't work. So they just pick and choose who to do that with, because it's like we still do it even though it doesn't really work, and it costs a lot of money. So like we have to pick and choose who we're gonna do it with or something.
That's
like,
what you think is happening, right?
maybe
You're not
it's-
saying that those two things are true. Right, because you have any evidence to...
something like that. It's like, and you know, like public opinion of the war, like if we can convince people to even relatively where North Korea and South Korea is on a map, to like get them interested in it. You know, like the American public was just so not interested in the whole Russia was it Croatia or
Crimea?
Ukraine, the whole, like, just Americans were like, nah, that's not
Crimea,
just like,
specifically what you're speaking
yeah,
of.
like they're just like, we don't give a fuck, you know. So it's like, I kind of think North Korea might be that, you know, like Bush had to work really hard on very false pretenses to get us to care about Iraq. So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, but we did care as long as Saddam Hussein was there.
Right.
Like, we cared that long. Like, we were super caring for however long that took before we just, like, wrecked that shit out and then just went... Like, when that guy was still a bad guy, we cared. We totally forgot about it now. Nobody gives a shit now. But, like, Afghanistan, I don't know that anybody really cared about because we didn't really have, like, a good villain there. I mean, we had a great villain, but he wasn't really there. You know, he was like around. There was like, it wasn't like an easy connection.
Factual.
There wasn't like statues and shit. We didn't know where he was at. He didn't have like a fucking layer that we could look at.
Also, no, literally, he was like in Pakistan for a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like he just he really just was not there.
Yes. Yeah.
And also, you know, he was never the president or like king or whatever of Afghanistan. That was never even his thing, anyways.
Right. He's like the head of an organization that had some money and stuff.
Some power in the country, basically.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there's just like a group of dudes.
Significant power.
Yeah, but not
not
necessarily
like,
in
It
Afghanistan.
was a theocracy under largely Taliban control.
They had like a whole chunk of that country.
They controlled people's day-to-day lives to an enormous degree.
Yeah, I didn't mean that they didn't do that. I meant that Afghanistan wasn't necessarily like the. It was.
Yes.
There were many.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't have borders like that. So that was kind of hard. Plus, like, at some, you know, we just fucking couldn't find that guy. So, like, that story gets boring no matter what. Like, I didn't see the last, like, 8 or 9 of the Hobbit movies. Like, some point you gotta fucking stop watching that show. And, but this one seems like it's easy money. Because that dude, the dude is, like, in public. He's, like, around. He's a fucking hilarious looking dude. I mean, he does like funny shit. I mean, he's easy for them to skewer.
Are you talking about Trump or Kim?
I'm talking about Kim Jong-un. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dennis Rodman. So.
Oh shit.
I don't know, but somehow Dennis Rodman has figured out how to talk to Kim Jong-un twice, and Trump still hasn't figured it out, though. But in all fairness, fucking Rodman was averaging like 19 rebounds a game in 3 straight finals. I mean, that dude was fucking killer. That dude owned the boards. Hustle from the jump. So, and he banged Madonna, which, obviously better than whatever skis this dude's banging. So, but no, Kim Jong-un's like, I mean, he works good on TV. He's also not like another one of the brown guys. Like, they don't have to, like, brown guy with a beard and something on his head him, you know, where, like, people still can't tell the difference, you know? Like, there's just been, like, 1,000 of those dudes. We can't tell the difference. I mean, this dude he's clearly that dude. And he's got nukes, and his people live in, like, the fucking weirdest world ever. Or, like, next to Russia, the weirdest world ever. Like, in meme culture, like, on the internet. People view that world to be totally crazy.
I give you all these. Why do you think we're not doing it? Do you think there's a reason, or are you confused?
I'm kind of confused about it. It seems like they could do it. The fucking back and forth with them and Trump is like kind of scary and like theatrical and comical. And I don't think it's working the same way that like when Bush was trumping that shit up with Iraq, like. It seemed kind of cut and dried. They were like walking us through it. They're like, it was like real somber. It was like, yeah, you know, guys, it really sucks, but they got weapons of mass destruction. We like have a receipt. You can't see it, but like we definitely have it. So it's a bummer, but we got to go in there. You know, it was like a somber deal.
We're not psyched about it. It's really unfortunate that we.
And everybody was like, what? Is this tied to 9/11? And they were like, yeah, it definitely is. And they're like, oh, well, fucking, yeah, definitely. Didn't definitely do that. Get in there. But it was cool because we were
why'd you
like,
even ask us?
But it was cool because at least people were like, well, it wasn't cool, but at least people were like, we got to do it. Let's go ahead and do it. This is a thing that has to happen, instead of where we're like reading the newspaper and we're like, did this dude just fucking send a tweet to the president of like the North Korean king or whatever the fuck he is? Like, is he talking shit to some dude with nukes? It's like, it's not, it's hard to make this, to like convince yourself that this would be like a just war from this, Reichstag fucking tweet storm that's happening now. But it seems like they should be able to convince us to go to war there. Like, I'm not convinced to go to war there, but it seems like they should be able to convince us to do it with all of these things that are happening. Also, it's like pretty fucked up there, right? We're just letting people live in like
Yeah,
super
it's
fucked up
awful.
situations. Like, I don't think we should be going all over the world and like knocking regimes out. I definitely don't think we should do that. But isn't that what we're doing?
Yeah,
That's what I don't
That's what's
get.
confusing about it. But it seems like we selectively have done it throughout history, also.
For sure, for
So,
sure.
I mean,
That's
we
why it's like
pick
not
our
that,
battles,
you know.
right?
I would say
Yeah.
for sure.
We pick the battles we think we can win, not. Well, sometimes, most of the time, at least.
But
We definitely pick the ones we think we can win.
yeah,
We've had a mediocre track record of that, I feel like,
but it's different
But,
now,
I mean,
though, isn't
I
it?
think that has something to do with it. Honestly, like I think last time I checked, North Korea has one of the largest militaries in the world. Actually, like just numbers wise.
Is that true? Oh wow.
I believe so.
I wonder if they're good.
So like, you can't just like invade their country and try and take out the guy.
Really?
Right.
So that leaves you with a covert operation, and a covert operation leaves a power vacuum, right? It leaves
Right.
an opportunity for the next guy to step to power, and who knows who the hell that's going to be.
Yeah.
We can't invade their country?
I mean, last time I checked, this was years ago, but last time I checked, North Korea had one of the largest militaries in the world. And one of their allies is China, which has the largest air force in the world.
And I think, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure China's been like, you can't invade them.
Right.
So,
Okay, but right,
I mean,
but are we
not
saying
just like ally, but like we will defend?
right? But okay, so we're saying that I mean, I recognize that we can't for diplomatic reasons, but I feel like we could just. I mean, I feel like we could just take them, right?
Well, I mean,
it's not. It's
if you don't
definitely,
take nukes off the table, yeah, we could do it. I mean, but short of that, I think it would be it's not going to be like a, shock and awe campaign like we saw in Iraq, where we were just able to fucking dominate them because they had fucking AA guns at night and they were shooting at stealth bombers. It's like fucking fuck you.
Wait, why
Like,
can't
what are
we
you
do
gonna
that this time?
Because they actually have like a military that's willing to back them up. Like China would come fly in fighters and fight us. They
Right.
could
Okay.
actually
I'm saying.
identify us and
I'm
invade us.
definitely saying. I mean, if if China is on the other side, I'm not trying to make an argument that we could bomb.
I think they also get military equipment from China. Like it's not like they don't have surface-to-air missiles there, which is not something that Iraq effectively had.
And then they also have the fact that if we ever went to war with them, they bomb the hell out of South Korea.
That
And-
too. They have Seoul
Yeah.
within range of like 1 billion artillery guns. They could just fucking level the goddamn city
Yeah.
in less than 20 minutes or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
It's
there's
fucking
some like nuts
awful.
statistic on it.
Hundreds of millions of people die within minutes of us declaring war.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I have no idea.
It like leaves you with a nuke or a covert operation, and neither one is a great option. That's my understanding of this political environment and
Okay.
why we have to bring them to the negotiating table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one of those sounds like something we wouldn't want to happen or do. I mean, one of those sounds exactly
What, the
like
nuke?
what we always do, right? It seems like power vacuum isn't a very like.
Well, that's the thing that's bit us so many times. I think that's what Joe was mentioning. Is like
Yeah, I'm
that's
not.
why we choose
Let me
battles
restate.
carefully
Let
in
me
that regard.
restate the position that I'm coming from when I'm saying this. I'm not saying like in actuality I think we should do it, and it doesn't seem like a big deal that there would be a power vacuum. I'm not saying that Trey thinks that or like. That's not my position. My question is my question is like why can't America do that? What's actually preventing?
Right. Why can't the war friendly America do that?
Yeah, why would we
can't
not
they
do it?
convince
Yeah,
America
why
to
would?
do
Yeah.
that?
Not we like
I
us.
totally
I'm not
agree
voting for- I'm
that
not voting for it.
Fox News got on board, America would be fucking on board.
Dude,
with
Fox
going to
News has
war
been
too.
on board
They'd
for,
be
like-
fuck
Fox
yeah.
News has been on board
yeah,
for a
Hannity
long
said go.
time.
Hannity said bomb.
They've way
I-
been fueling this fucking North Korea Trump feud for a long time. They're itching for a
Oh, for
war.
sure. But
Uh,
yeah, But, like, it's not, like, to the same degree. Like, I remember I was even convinced when I saw Colin Powell bring the photographs and be like, listen, I've seen lots of photographs. And I know you see boxes when I point at this, but this is a fucking bomb facility. And I was like, man, you've looked at way more photographs than I have of taking satellites, so I don't know.
Yeah, I do not remember that moment in my life at all, so.
I remember being like, well, I mean... Fucking, he's got the
Good
badges.
job, pal.
He's got the badges, and he said that like it's bombs. So I'd be like, "What am I gonna be like? No, I know better than you. No, that's a box."
He seems confident. Must trust.
Okay, I just looked. Here's the army sizes of North Korea, according to. North Korea and the people that do the estimates, which I guess is like...
Oh, this is according to
No.
North Korea.
No. This is like... I'm saying additionally, this is the numbers that... I believe this is...
We have a 1 billion man
I
army.
believe this is like the agreed upon size. So I'll tell you theirs first, and it'll be an okay idea, and then you'll see later. So the belief is that they have... 1.19 million service members, so 1.2, we'll round it up, 1.2 in active duty, and then 7.7 million reservists.
Okay.
Don't know what you have to be a reservist, but it definitely, you don't have to have a gun, because those people do not have guns. So, so they're, I don't know what they are. I guess maybe they have uniforms. My mind would be blown if they had uniforms. I think so. That's 7.7 and 1.2. So that's 9.9 million people in their military. That's pretty serious. Out of 25 million people total population.
Right. So almost half the country. Right?
Yeah. So if you take old people and
like
actual
like
babies off the list, and also I guess. I don't know. They might be cool. I don't want to put North Korea in a box. Maybe they let ladies in the military. Either way, though,
No.
it's more than half of the able-bodied from 14 to 60 population is in the military. We have 1.2 active, 1.2 million active, and 800,000 reservists. So we only have 2 million. So they've got 10 million, and we have 2. So it might be difficult. I don't know though. How many people do they really have in the military? 100,000? How many fighters could they possibly have?
You gotta wonder how. I mean, if those people are convinced though of the stories they're told, then they're gonna fight.
Oh,
for
even
their
if
home.
you're not,
if
it's like a forced thing, like,
Yeah.
you know, it can still be.
Oh, for sure. Stalingrad was defended under those sort of circumstances. You know, one guy was run out with a gun, the other guy had only an extra clip.
Rough stuff.
Yeah.
History has been really great to people.
So yeah, I don't know, but I would be like, if the reason we haven't gone in is because we can't, that would be, I hope we don't let everybody know that, because that would be fucking sad. I would hope that that's not the reason.
No, so I don't. To be clear, like, our weapons do give us such a clear advantage that if it were truly us fighting North Korea, I have no doubt that we would fucking crush them, right? But that's just not the world we live in. And also, we would definitely have to sacrifice those couple 100 million people that live in Seoul.
Right, but we can't do it without
the second we launch.
We can't do it without losing Seoul. That seems crazy to me.
A couple 100 million people? Jesus, you were the fucking trolley guy. What happened?
I'm
Trey?
saying we can't. I'm not saying we should. No.
People. Come on,
I'm
man.
saying how can we not? How can we not do it without losing Seoul?
Well,
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a
Seoul
military.
Dwarfs his entire country in population, right? So if we're talking greatest good for greatest number of people, you keep the people in Seoul happy, and you don't kill them.
I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Try and
I'm
save
not,
the 30 million people.
I'm not saying we
the
should do that.
country.
I'm saying that if we can't do it without losing Seoul, then it's pretty sad. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
well,
That
yeah,
like,
I'm not sure how.
if we really gotta fucking, I guess, spend more money on our military, because there's a country of 25 million people that has fucking nukes. Nukes. They're not even an old country. They're like a pretty new deal. They got nukes already and 25 million people, and it's just a fucking horror show over there. And they have a clown leading them. And we can't take that shit?
Yeah. And they fired missiles over our ally, Japan.
Yeah, it's insane.
Which we're sworn to defend through treaty because of the end of World War II.
So
I'll point out.
So this is part of.
In
the
all fairness,
reason
though,
why-
we should definitely be doing that. We owe them. that part of the deal was actually pretty square.
No,
I
yeah,
think,
no, we told him you can't have a military because fuck you. And then
We got your back.
No, but we'll come and defend you. I'm sorry, what'd you say? What were you calling us? We
Yeah.
were busy. We were busy.
Uh,
You got a crazy guy.
the
next to you.
nuke didn't
You
even
should
hit you this time. Like, what are you guys? Yeah, that's gotta be a hard conversation. So, yeah, that's fucking weak that we can't do that. I mean, I'm not like advocating military aggression, but kind of. I think I would be right. It wouldn't be difficult to
It does
convince me
sound
that
like
we
that.
should. I don't know, man. People are really fucking pissed about the Holocaust, and I feel like we didn't know about that to begin
I
with.
hear you.
Like I
For
feel like
sure. I mean, who knows how bad it is in this country? I
feel like when we found out about that, we were like, definitely let's not let that keep going. Let's do the stuff that we can do to stop that. I don't know. It's pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty
I mean,
weak.
we were even willing to use nukes when it wasn't a Holocaust, right? I mean, that's when we used them. On
Oh yeah,
Japan.
we just bombed Japan for no fucking reason at all.
We were just like, we have a new toy, and we don't want to go from island to island.
And we didn't get that first one on video, so here's the second one. Sorry. Fucking total shitbag deal. But yeah, I don't know. It just
Sorry.
seems weird.
Jim forgot to put film in the
Yeah.
camera. Fuck you, Jim.
This one's gonna be a little bigger. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird. Why aren't people pissed about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think some people are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a similarly two-sided thing.
What are the
I don't know.
sides?
I think lefties tend to not want to get involved in wars at all anymore, and even though they're upset about stuff like that, they are like, "We're not the world's police," and blah blah blah. And then righties would probably be totally fine doing it, as far as I can tell. Like, my conservative family members are like perfectly fine with going to war with Korea. So.
Were they cool with going to war with Korea before?
Before Trump?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be surprised if they weren't.
I don't really remember much hubaloo about North Korea before now, before the historical epoch we're living in now.
Oh, you don't remember, like, during George W. Bush? It was Kim Jong-il.
Yeah.
I mean, he was fucking crazy, too.
I mean, I
And,
remember-
he was pursuing nukes at
I
the time.
remember North Korea. Like, I remember them existing. I just don't remember. I don't think anybody ever told me we should go to war there. Like, I don't think I ever heard that, like, around. People just like, hey, man, fucking,
Right.
we should go to war there. But in the same thing, like, I don't know back then. I feel like for a long time in the beginning, North Korea was a joke. Like Russia now, kind of. Like, it's like, look what's happening over there, dude. And, but not a threat, like a real threat. I feel like during the second George Bush presidency, it was a joke that was over there, and we didn't like the leader, but the people seemed okay. Whereas to now, it's like clearly, like the nuke thing is, to me, feels like only slightly more important than the human rights issues that are going on there. Did I miss that part of it, or do you remember Do you remember North Korea being a human rights
I
issue back then?
I remember it definitely being a huge human rights issue. That's what people were definitely concerned with. And on top of that, they knew that they were obviously pursuing a nuke, and we knew that they had this huge military and that we couldn't go in and fight them. And we were like, well, fuck, they're about to get a nuke, and we can't even go in and fucking stop them. And they have these artillery guns and, you know, the demilitarized zone in between them and South Korea. So, like, what the fuck can we do? And we just kept on twiddling our thumbs, not doing anything about it, and then they fucking have nukes now. And guess what? It's still fucking shitty for the people, and there's nothing we can do still. It's like, it's one of the worst situations ever. And, yeah, I don't know what we should do. I don't know if I could get on board with a direct military confrontation, understanding what the implications of that would be, like the fact that it would probably start a war also with China.
Break those
and get other
okay.
people
Break
involved.
break that down though. Let's add to this list whatever you see that needs to be added to this list. But one, there's China, right? That's number one. Like, let's maybe don't go to war with China right now, right?
That's a big one for sure, but also just them, as you pointed out, they actually, like, just in sheer numbers dwarf our size in military, and just on men on the ground.
You're worried about the military size too. Okay. So military size
That's part
is
of
one
it, for sure.
And the military size
It's
is
not like
what
they have, like, an M1 rifle, and that's all they have, you know? It's not like a semi-automatic versus our M16s or something. They have actual modern weapons that they're getting from China in trade.
Okay. You're not worried about them coming here though, right?
No.
Okay.
That
So
would be ridiculous.
so
Like,
your
yeah.
their military size, let's put the South Korea thing to side just for a second, but the thing about military size for you then is like actual war casualties.
Yeah, it would inflict an unacceptable number of war casualties on us, and it would actually, like, the numbers are such that it's actually questionable about whether or not we could win without pulling some major bombing attack or something like that significantly reduced their numbers.
What do you think we wouldn't? Why would we not do that?
As you point out, like, they dwarf us.
Okay, but I was pointing out that I didn't think that was true. If I wasn't clear about that.
Well, yeah, I know. The thing is that, like, I understand your skepticism there, but my understanding is that the idea of them having roughly half the able-bodied people in the military is basically correct, because that's the only way you get food right now in the country, is if you're in the military, and that's the way it's been for years. At least that's what I'm.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that those dudes have like ranks and have to show up like on Tuesdays and whatever, sing the songs or whatever. I'm not doubting that those dudes are like officially in the military. I just don't know how many of those dudes equals one actual trained U.S. soldier. That's kind of what I meant. Like, it's just at their
sure.
size.
I mean, I'm sure that we probably are better trained than them, but I don't know. They've also had nothing else to do, right? It's not like they have a functioning economy where they all go off and do actual work for Monday through Thursday in your scenario. Like, if they weren't on the military base getting trained, what the fuck else are they doing? They're not working in a factory.
What do you think that those people could do? Like, say that there was 100 million people in that country and every one of them was a soldier, but it was located where it's located and we were us. And although they had nice weapons, they only had the weapons that they had. Like, isn't the more soldiers that they have just an increase in their dead?
And they're dead, not ours?
Right.
I mean, I don't think so. I'm not a military strategist, though, so, I mean, I can't really speak to that super effectively, but, I mean, my understanding is that at a certain point, numbers prevail, no matter if you have fucking sticks and rocks.
Yeah, but if we have drones, though, that's a different... I mean, sticks and rocks would be one thing, but, like, if we're putting drones over there... I don't even know. Do they have a Navy?
First of all, we're not the only ones with drones. They have a very shitty Navy. Drones are not invincible, also, obviously, right? Like they
Well,
have capable air
I mean,
defenses,
they
it's
are.
not like we just fly our drones over them like we do in Pakistan.
They're kind of invincible because you can't kill them. Right. I mean, they can't die because they're not actual things. They're not alive.
Right, but you can prevent them from delivering a weapon onto their intended target.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we're getting into things where, like, I don't want to ask
We
you
certainly
questions
are.
that I don't want to, like, entice you into making statements about something that you've admitted you're not a military strategist in, and I admit that I'm not one. But the fear on military size, so there's a fear of, like, actually not wanting to tangle with them. That's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I've heard strategists like generals, former generals, say
that
things
those are
like
true.
that. That's
Okay.
why I believe that's
Okay.
true.
And then, obviously, South Korea is like right there, like across.
Yeah, South Korea is.
across the
I
street.
know that they're definitely within range of those artillery
Right.
guns, and that's shitty.
Okay. So China, their military, and South Korea.
Plus other entanglements that might get involved.
Like,
like Russia might be like, well, you shouldn't fuck with North Korea. In fact, I think they've said sort of as much as well.
So,
At
if we
times.
listed that as possibility of World War III,
Yeah, more foreign entanglements. Yeah, let's just call it World War III.
It would definitely be much more likely to be closer to World War III than anything that we've done in the Middle East so far. So,
Are you saying that with like? Are you
it has-
saying that with like hindsight though? I mean, we've danced pretty close to the Russia thing.
I mean,
in the
maybe.
Middle East. It didn't.
Like-
it didn't pan out.
Yeah, but so like we like in the Middle East, that was like a big proxy war. Like I don't think that's like the case with Korea though. Like Russia was never like, if you invade Afghanistan, like that's our ally and best friend. That's our territory. Like it was never. It's a very different thing with like China being like, that's our ally, and no, you can't do
right,
that.
right.
And then with like tensions with Russia high, just like they would almost certainly be like, you can't be this close to us. Like,
Yeah.
So like I feel like it definitely has a lot more potential to escalate to that type of point. And there's nukes involved and stuff too. So
Yeah. Okay. I forgot about that one. We're gonna call that number 5. Nukes.
So just 5 really good reasons
Nukes.
not to. I mean,
Nukes.
just the 5.
Okay. If China and possibility of World War III, we could clear those up, right?
sure,
Right.
sure.
Like that's something where China could be like, you know what, fuck them up, I don't care. Or we could be like, hey, we'll just give you like whatever. We'll just trade something that we think is worthless that China like ends up using to take us over 18 years from now. Or just like, yeah, you can just put in whatever those little wireless internet things all over here if you
What?
want it. Or whatever.
You just want the original recipe for KFC?
Yeah, take it. What are you going to do? And then that's like the worst
you
thing.
want the recipes for all of our fast food? I think the recipe is just fry it in oil. I think that's the end of the recipe, actually.
Excellent.
You already have it now. Oh wait, did I just give up my bargaining chip?
fuck. Okay, so China and Russia we could get on board though. That could be a non-issue, right? I'm not asking like, do you see a way that we could do it? But I'm just saying like it's possible that China could say like, our hands are off. Whatever.
Sure.
Right.
Oh, is it feasible? Yes. Can I imagine it? I'm not sure I can imagine a plausible scenario.
Yeah, I have no idea.
If you can, let's hear it.
I have zero
But let's say it's feasible.
imagination when it comes to world politics.
Well, I mean I don't see a possibility. I don't like see like a specific path, but China only gives a fuck about North Korea because they can.
Yeah.
Like they can just say like, nah, you can't fuck with it. We're doing stuff here. This is our thing, so you can't fuck with it. And it's like a sweet ass power move. And they have like we could cover the money that they're making in North Korea. Right, like North
There
Korea
could be other
presents
stuff,
no.
though.
Even if China was like, all right, you can fucking clear it out, but we get it. Like, even if that was the trade. Even if they were like, all right, fine, fucking knock it out. But then this is the dude that's going to be in charge when it's all done. Right. I mean, they could just have it if they wanted it.
I mean, in yeah, who knows, dude?
I have no idea, like, what's all seething under all of that. And I'm not trying to say, like, this, it's likely or anything. I'm just saying there are situations where China, we could just cut a deal with China. Like, all of these pieces we've just been trading back and forth between ourselves, like, for the last, whatever, like, 6,000 years anyways. Like, we just come up with a trade or whatever.
I'll give it to you in theory that it could happen. It could happen. Which leaves us with nuke South Korea and something else.
And
fried chicken.
And military casualties.
Military casualties.
What number of North Korean people do we have to save before it's like not worth it to clear it out?
So, like, that's the exact problem I laid out earlier. Is like, if you can't save Seoul, then there's no way. Even if you save
I'm talking about North Korea. I'm talking strictly on North Korea.
Cover.
I'm looking at I want to look at these like individually. I'm saying in North Korea, what number of that 25 million do we have to save before it's not even worth it to go in there and get them? But I guess there's nukes. So, like, what number? If we killed 25 million North Koreans, but we got the nukes, is that worth it?
I mean, like, the situation you lay out seems in line with a scenario where we, like, nuke the entire fucking country to glass, right?
Maybe. I'm not trying to walk you into that. I'm just wondering how many. I'm just wondering, like, what.
I mean, if that's how we accomplish it, I'd feel pretty bad. Honestly, no matter how we accomplish it, I feel pretty fucking bad about that. So
you'd feel pretty bad
about killing 25 million people.
If no matter how we accomplish it, if it takes all of them, if it kills all of them, you'd feel bad about it. Right.
Yeah.
But okay, so like, what's the?
Even if it wasn't nukes.
Even if it wasn't nukes, if we just shot them all, you would also be sad about that. If we drowned them all, you wouldn't feel cool with that.
If you're honestly just caring about the suffering, like, it could be argued that, like, dropping enough nukes to cover the entire land with explosions would actually be more humane than actually, like, one by one shooting people, right? Like,
I would think that would be way more humane than just lining up 25 million people. I guess less the women and children.
Well, if you had 25 million soldiers with guns and they each had, like, one gun, they each shot everyone simultaneously.
Oh, that would be equal.
That's a different
that would
story.
probably be better.
The weirdest hypothetical.
In that case, we would have saved the streams and the mountains. So that's tough.
This hypothetical does not bode well for what's going to happen in the future of this show.
So let's just say, like, if you could save half
the question
people.
is...
So, do you remember that time when we were like, if you lined up 25 million...
and then Dan was kind of wishy-washy on which one would be better.
Wait, Dan, are you telling me that you were embarrassed about the poets and suicide, the writers and the suicide comment, and you're not embarrassed about this 25 million nukes thing? This one takes the cake to me.
Honestly,
I think this is.
You think that it's better to shoot 25 million people than
no.
I
just think in comparison,
any way you make a comment on it.
One of the worser things that has been said in
My point of the question was, how is any war, the military size, is that an issue of lost life? Let's say, okay, so if we had to kill everyone who lived there, but we got rid of the nukes, I'm going to say, like, I would personally say that's not a good trade-off. I don't. You're saying that you think it's pretty bad. What if?
Yeah, it's a pretty terrible deal.
If we call their population 25 million and we say military and reservists is 10 million of that, if those 10 million took up guns and got into and joined the fight, if they lost 10 million people, but we got rid of the nukes and the 15 million people who weren't in the military, if they survived, would that be fine?
I would still feel really bad. I'm not.
How many people died in World War II? I feel like that's like the worst death count.
I feel like that's like the sum of people that died in World War II.
Okay, well, what?
Like, that's pretty fucking
Oh,
bad,
God.
man.
No, we're
It's
wrong. We're
not
wrong.
even close, is it?
Apparently, 50 million to 80 million. And
What
I
was
think
World
that's,
War
I think
I?
that's
Wasn't it
civilians
huge?
in all.
I think World War One maybe.
I don't know. I mean...
any situation where they give you a 30 million ballpark, fucking horrific. Like that's a big ballpark.
World War One was more than 41 million.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
Ugh.
The deal is if the military size is a problem,
over like a period of years, right? Like those many million people died. We're talking about a situation where like that many people die in like a fucking day.
I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying if we go to war, how fast do we have to go to war? How precise do we have to be in the execution of our plan before the military size isn't an issue for you? That's my question. If their military is a reason that we don't want to go to war there, if the size of their military is a reason why we don't want to go to war there.
To be clear, I'm not saying their military is an issue in that it directly like makes me scared. Well, excuse me. I'm not saying that like I have an issue with killing 10 million people that want to kill me because I'm trying to like keep them from destroying the planet. Like I don't feel like that is necessarily all that bad.
These are all really good. I like these. These are gems.
The issue I have is that it makes a ground war just simply impractical because of the juxtaposition of the two numbers, right? Like they dwarf us in terms of numbers, and so it makes any kind of plausible battle, especially like a major decisive one, very difficult to realize for us.
Can we even ship like 2 million people?
They're
already
all there.
To deliver enough people to all attack them at once is logistically incredibly
right,
difficult.
but also a fantastical idea, right? I mean, there's no scenario where we get in a ground war in North Korea. Like that would be the first ground war in 50 years, and they have a centralized government.
The reason why Iraq happened and was so decisive was that we were able to take out their air defenses really fast. Then we owned their air. Then we were just like, fine, we're just going to roll in there with all of our tanks. And we literally rolled down their highway towards Baghdad. I remember that.
Yeah.
And that was, maybe not what would be typically called a ground war, but it points out the difference here, right? We could not ever do that on North Korea as things stand right now. We would have to somehow take out their air defenses, then find a way to strategically take out their military, hopefully without killing all their civilians so that we don't look like assholes, and then go in, and we still have to clean up on the ground, because it's not like Kim Jong-un is going to be like, hey, I'm sitting right here, come get me. No, he's going to be a fucking scaredy cat and hide away like he probably should, honestly. And it's not going to be an easy situation, so it just makes it impractical. It's not like I'm worried about killing the people that want to kill me.
So are you saying that
in that situation?
Why is military size a fear for us going into war then? You just don't think it'll like look cool on paper, or you don't think we'll get the W? Like what?
So, yeah, I don't think the American public will be on board if we have that kind of a casualty load. I don't think
what kind of casualty load?
Well, because if you're outnumbered, what was it? 2 to 1, 3 to 1,
5 to 1.
You're gonna get 5 to 1. Yeah, you're gonna get into some bad situations where a lot more people die in battle than what we're used to, based on the recent battles that we fought.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, like, why do you think that's a reason not to go to war? What's the root then of that?
Because
is it that we'll pull out when the American people sees how many people are dying? Is it that the number of people that would die Is it the number of people we would kill? Like, what about their military gives you pause about going to war?
So,
Not that I'm not talking about us winning the war or like why you think we should go to war. I'm saying as a reason not to go to war.
Well, wait.
Why is the military? What is it about their military that you think that gives you pause about us going to war there?
If it's not a situation that you think you can win the war, you would be better off not fighting in that war. That's like one of the oldest pieces of strategy ever. Even in the situation, it may sound terrible. In the situation of the Holocaust, if you found out the Holocaust was happening, but you knew you were not yet strong enough to stop it, you would be better off biding your time, building your strength quietly, and then attacking later.
I agree. I agree
than
with
trying
you.
to throw everything you had.
I agree with you. I don't think that that's our way, though, right?
Well, I think that that's part of the calculus that's involved right now, and I mean that's why I.
So you're saying you don't think we
could
could win
into my decision making.
Okay, so then it's.
I'm saying it makes winning much more impractical without resorting to extreme measures like nuking the country.
Yeah, it's like we didn't have to, like, I think if I'm understanding you correctly, Danny, it's like we didn't really have to commit that much of our military to Afghanistan and Iraq, like compared to what we would have to do here. And it's just like it. Even if it's just North Korea, it almost on its own seems like a World War III type situation, just numbers-wise. Like, if they have 10 million, we're talking about sending, hopefully 15 million. Like, and also incorporating nukes and our entire navy, blah, blah, blah. So, like, it would just be, in theory, it's just a much bigger war, and that means that probably the stakes are bigger, like it's easier to lose, if that makes sense. Like that's kind of what I'm hearing anyway. It's like
that's a pretty good summation of what I was trying to say.
So you think we could lose that war? Or let me say it this way. Here's what I'll assume. Tell me if I'm wrong. You think we could lose that war the nice way, and so the only way that we're going to win it is the bad way.
Yeah, that's better. It's not as decisive. Like we can't pussyfoot on it. Like we've got to go all in to do it. Or
we just have to nuke them.
Go all in another sense of like nuking it, which I think would roughly be going all in. Like that would change world politics. I feel like for a very long time.
Okay. We can't just nuke them like right now. You don't think?
What do you mean?
Accept that Seoul dies and launch a nuke at them because like they'll detect it, right? That's the problem.
So we think that they can detect.
They have a few minutes warning.
That they have a few minutes
Even
warning
if we
and that they could get it
pull
off.
a Trident sub right off their coast and fire it from there, they will have enough time to. Their artillery guns are loaded, trained on Seoul. It takes them moments, less than 2 minutes, our estimates are, to destroy the entire city with these guns that they have in range. God knows why someone fucking built the city there, but Jesus, it's like there's nothing we can do. It makes the situation so hard.
They built it in the 60s. Well, I mean before then, but like
yeah, I'm sure it was around since before the country.
When there wasn't as many geopolitical issues.
In hindsight, it seems really.
What's the?
Yeah, no. I mean, everything should be viewed through hindsight, though. Like, I mean, that's the way you pick the best stocks or investments and stuff.
What's the what percent faith do you have that that's what would transpire?
Like if we launched a nuke, that Seoul would be destroyed.
Yeah. I'm gonna come up with a follow-up question here on this too. So just on that, we launch a nuke, or like multiple nukes. We just go to nuke the fuck out of the palace. We just get him on the phone, and then while he's talking, we're like, "Hey man, What's up, dude?
Hey, is your refrigerator
Fucking,
running?
what's it like over there, dude? Like, what's the weather? Can you see, like, hey, I'm looking at the moon. Can you see the moon? And so he like walks to the window. That'd be the trick that I employed. But we launched nukes at them.
Kim Jong-un would be like, we can't both see the moon at the same time.
It's a different moon.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Either that or he'd be really nervous that it was like a video chat and somebody could see his ears, and so he'd be like, cover up my ears, make them look smaller.
If
Trace, like,
if nukes are coming, if we launch nukes
Trying to
on
ask
North
the fucking
Korea,
question.
what level of
gotcha.
faith do you have that then, in those moments that they had left to live, that they would then fire nukes on and bury Seoul? And would it definitely be Seoul?
well, first of all, they're not. I mean, I hate to be pedantic. They're not nukes that they have trained on Seoul. It's just conventional artillery, but
really
it's enough
pedantic.
of them
My God.
that they could just instantly destroy the city, basically. In terms of faith that they would do that, I don't know. Like
Do
I
you
said,
think
I'm
they're
not
not going to
a
launch nukes?
military strategist, but my understanding is that like they have the guns built and they have them built and loaded at all times for this reason, and that they have strict orders too, and that they'd all be shot basically if they didn't. So I'm pretty confident that they probably would. I mean, they're pretty big dicks over there.
Yeah, I just
It's not-
always wonder about that, like, especially in this situation. Like, I think if you sent a nuke to LA, we're definitely dropping nukes like that exact instant. We're definitely doing it. We're a much bigger country, though, and I feel like we could stop a nuclear attack in the middle of the nuclear attack and save part of us. Same with Russia and China. And I guess India, though I haven't really thought about it. But that shit would be way ugly. But, like, North Korea's only move is that move.
Right.
So their threat is just like a suicide threat, right?
Oh, I totally agree with that. Like it is a suicide bombers. You know what's it called? Dead man switch or
Right,
whatever.
right.
You know, if you kill me, it'll fall and trigger the bomb. I totally agree with that. It's a coward's way out, but it is super fucking effective because there are hundreds of millions of people that live there.
Right, but in what way is it effective if you are dying?
Because that's what you said you would do all these years, and that's what I mean. Are you questioning whether the individual soldier would have the will to do it and kill the people, knowing that he
Like
would?
all the way,
that-
all the way up the line, especially in
Okay.
all the way up the line until the last, or like maybe the last two rungs of the ladder.
Well, just like, I think it. I don't know. There's many ways to approach that because, like, I don't think they would be told that a nuke was coming, so they wouldn't see it as a suicidal thing, and they've just been propagandized their whole life. Like
They just got
Yeah,
like,
but
they
it would
just-
happen-
Yeah, they're just shoot the gun, and they're like, okay, I'm shooting the gun.
But it would happen like right now. Do it. Like they would have to do it right then. It would happen
Yeah, I
in
mean,
the middle of like out of nowhere. Someone would rush in and say you have to shoot the gun right now.
Yeah, they could think that they're going to war. They could think that, like, yeah.
South Korea's advancing.
Yeah, I just think it's very possible given that theory of thinking about it. And, I don't know how much of it is in, like, just automated control, too, right? Like, it might be a button situation with at least a large chunk of it.
Yeah, Kim
so.
Jong-un has the button. Jesus, god damn it, that'd be scary.
I mean, I kind of doubt it. That's
Probably would have pressed the button by now if that were the situation, right?
but yeah, I don't know. So just as an outside opinion, like with no experience whatsoever, I'd say I could believe it. I could believe they do that shit.
Do you think? What about Kim Jong-un doing it though?
Yeah, I just clearly
Because that's a for sure he's dead, right? Like, if he knows a nuke is coming and he hits that button, he knows for fucking sure he's dead.
Yeah, dude, it's hard. Like, I've never been a world leader or talked to like really any of them.
What?
And the closest I've come is like talking to someone who's talked to one. Like, that's it. So like, you know, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for me to imagine that they believe the things that they say. And then sometimes it's like really easy for me to imagine. So like, I don't know. It's hard to like, if you imagine him as a totally normal dude on a power trip who's just like, this is sweet, like, why would I give this up? Then yeah, it seems kind of weird that he would like, you know, press the button, give the order in the end. But like, I don't really imagine him like that. Like, he grew up with like a batshit crazy father, in a batshit crazy family, surrounded by people that survived and thrived on promoting him and his family and their connections and just like all these political ties and things and ways of looking at the world. And like, I don't think he goes throughout the world like, it would be really hard for me to imagine that this guy doesn't believe at least 80% of his own hype. Like, I could certainly not like walk around and like be, I don't know. It's just hard to imagine. Like, that guy probably thinks he's the top in sports in his country.
You
he's
think
really
so,
good in
though?
sports. He's really, yeah. That's what I think about Trump. Like, I'm fairly certain that Trump thinks the same. Trump will say stuff like, yeah, like, I'm really smart. I'm one of the smartest. And it's like, the best case scenario from my position is that he has a average IQ and is a world leader. And so like, it would not be mind blowing if this guy believes a lot of the shit. Like, he feels he has a right to rule. His family owns this country. Maybe God gave him that right. Maybe these other countries are impeding on his rights. Like, I just, absolutely. It would be, again, part of me thinks all that shit is crazy as fuck, but it's like, why? I don't know. Like, it's as hard to imagine that evil of a person as it is to imagine that deranged of a person. Because I just like walk around generally being mediocre, if not sub-mediocre most of my time, but I never do like anything super insane. I'm not like bashing people's faces in or like doing crazy shit. So like, it's hard for me to imagine either of those scenarios, like that this guy is so crazy that he believes it, or that he's so evil that he's okay with doing it even though he's smarter to realize all the alternatives. So anyway, yeah, I could, at the end of that, I could definitely see that guy being like, oh, fuck this, press the button. Like,
what about a guy who just was born into a system that was already set up, and he knew that he either took control or someone else in his family was going to take control and that he was going to get killed? What about a situation where he just was born into a world where he had to either be exactly like he is or he was going to get killed? Because there's like a mess of uns and ills just like buried in fields all over that place. Like the cousins, the uncles, the brothers, like the dudes that aren't the top are just dead as fuck. Right? And he would have known that coming in.
Yeah, so I think, I don't know.
Which, like, I mean, if you told me that I could rule, that I had to be like the craziest dictator ever and rule this shit, or they were going to kill me in my sleep.
I think that's a good third option, but I do present to you the idea that either being batshit crazy or being so evil that you can do it anyway might give you the passion and the courage you need to actually win that fight. So like there might have been a lot of people in his family who heard that and they're like, well, damn, I gotta win. but because they weren't as crazy as he was, or like something like they didn't make it to the top. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. Like that's kind of part of my theory with Trump is like it's like he clearly believes a lot of it. Like, I mean, this is from what I can tell, unless like the liberal fake news has duped us so bad and we're just libtards.
Again.
Like this man, our current president, like cheated on his like pregnant wife, who was like his third wife, who was an immigrant woman that clearly just married him for his money, right? And he knew this about all his marriages, and he cheated on her with like a very skanky, horrendous looking, gross porn star.
Slut shaming, but go on.
I mean, yes.
Is there anything worse than saying that something's slut shaming, where you have to like, we got to get a new word, where it's like, hey man, that's slut shaming. Don't shame that slut. That's like so fun. That's my least favorite of all the fucking things that we say. Slut shaming's terrible. Okay, but yeah. So if the liberal media has convinced us that this guy sucks,
either it's the case that we've been tricked, or Trump is so smart and he knows all of that, and he just pretends like it's not true, or he's fucking crazy and he in his mind it's like, yeah, like these women want to have sex with me because of like how powerful and like how good looking I am, how smart I am,
right.
All this money. I mean, he will say stuff like, nobody ever gave me anything. Like, what the? You can't take $1 million loan from your dad and say no one ever gave you anything. I don't ever have the possibility of $1 million loan. Like,
or the 14 million, like a couple
insane.
Years later when he lost that million.
Yeah. But my point is to say, like he's either so smart and just talks this shit away, and it's just an evil, fucking, crazy, smart talker guy, or he believes this shit. And if that's the case with Trump, maybe that's the case with all the other world leaders. They're, like, yeah, they're born into it, but like that's part of what makes them believe it. Like, I was born into it, and out of all of my family, I survived this shit, and that's why I'm totally gonna blow Seoul up if they like shoot shit at me. Like, anyway.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, that it's difficult to get inside, and where do they fall on that, and also like maybe one of them is one way and one of them is the other. Maybe one dude's an evil genius and one dude's an evil idiot, and that they're like that.
Yeah.
But I enough time hasn't passed with Trump for me to think, like, off the top of my head, a great example, or maybe we'll only know in hindsight, but like the stuff like Kim Jong-un says things in public where like he has to know that those things aren't true because he believed them to be true. Like, if he thought he was the best athlete in the country, he would just get whoever other people thought was, like, a really good athlete and just, like, play him one-on-one on TV. He'd be like, hey, man, let's play some one-on-one because I'm the best athlete, right? And he would just get, like, dunked through his face. Like, if he thought he was... in order to maintain power like that, you have to know what your actual weaknesses are, or you would get killed. You would, like... You know what I mean? You would, like, make mistakes. Does that make sense? Like, you couldn't believe that you were, if he thought he was invincible, he would, like, like, walk up to whatever, another army and, like, fucking try to throw a fireball at him or whatever. He'd be like, fuck, wait, I thought I could throw fireballs, and then just immediately get killed. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know what your weaknesses are. I agree with you,
but that's kind of why I mentioned, like, him being surrounded by this situation where other people lived and died by like advancing him or his family and stuff, is like the way politics works out. Like, smart people can just realize, or even just like people who want to be near the top but don't feel like they have the ability to rule and stuff, like they prop other people up. Like, otherwise Trump wouldn't be possible. Obama wouldn't be possible. Even like politicians we like they just wouldn't be possible if there wasn't someone willing to like on the side kind of prop them up and like give the energy and the time to support what they're doing. And in his case, it's entirely possible that like he's just an egomaniacal douche who like doesn't realize his downfalls, and they're just covering for a lot of them. Like that's what a lot of people think about Trump, and you know it is possible. It's like he'll say stuff like, yeah, I'm never taking anything from anybody, and you can almost like see people next to him like wincing, like, oh, I gave him so much. Oh. But it's like, you know, like, so yeah, like I would think that was the case if it was like a schoolyard fight, like on the schoolyard, shit like that really settles it out. But like, I don't think that always happens in politics. It often does, like it does happen for sure, but like that's part of the argument that a lot of people make when they talk about just taking the peaceful approach with countries like South Korea or North Korea anyway. So a lot of the argument, especially in recent years, has been that Kim Jong-un, in order to get like the wealth he needs into the country, like he has to give wealth to other people so that they can have the connections with China and South Korea and Japan to get stuff in. And the second that those people have wealth, they want things like TVs and they want internet access, and they know about what's going on in the world. So he has this web around him of actually just informed, normal people who basically pretty closely live in the Western world. They just live in like this small bubble in North Korea. And as we like progress them and progress what they're doing, it just he almost has to like become a more reasonable leader. He just like he wants those things. He wants the people around him to be happy, or they'll overthrow him. So he has to start appeasing them. So now he has to like give up on like some of the crazy things he was doing, like having their daughters on their wedding nights or like some insane shit. And he's like, okay, I won't do that anymore. I'll just like, you know, do this other fucked up stuff. And then like we slowly whittle him down. So I think there's clearly evidence that there's a web there that could maybe like prop him up and keep him alive. You know, it's different.
Yeah, but aren't those concessions proof that he understands what his weaknesses are? Like, no way he lets that web, like he develops that web if he thinks he actually can control the country. You know what I mean? Like that's like proof that he's that he knows that he has some weaknesses, and that in order to advance, he has to make some concessions.
I know like a lot of Americans who think they would totally be cool in an apocalyptic situation because they have like a shotgun and they're ready to go.
Right.
You know,
tons of
like,
those fucking dudes.
And none of them know how to hunt well or like farm. They've never done any of that before. Right. Some of them like don't know the type. They couldn't ID the plants that the food that they eat the most come from.
Yeah, but they got common sense,
man. They know nothing about medicine.
They got common sense, so they don't teach that in school anymore.
So like, yes, absolutely, like to some extent, he has to know his weaknesses, right? Like he definitely has to know, like, okay, I can't do all this in a day. I'm not literally a superhero, but like at the same time, like. He probably, I mean, that's what I mean. He probably believes like 80% of it. He probably is like, I'm real strong. I could fight any of these guys. Like, I'm real smart. I could outwit these guys. You know, like something along those lines is what I mean. And like, if he believes those things and he believes like he has a right to rule and like he's powerful and like he should get his way, then like that is totally the type of guy who would like blow up some city because he was about to die. He's like pissed off about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But what if, like the original question, getting to the end of the original question though, is like, would he do that knowing that it would mean he was going to die?
Well, I thought the nuke was already in the air.
Yeah, I think this way. We're doing the opposite. No, I don't know on the opposite.
If he knows a nuke is coming, they can identify the fact that there's a nuke in the air. He doesn't know that that nuke is going to, like, A, hit the city that he's in, B, penetrate whatever basement level nuke bunker that he has, which surely he has. He doesn't know that there's more than one coming. Like, he just knows a nuke is coming. But if he hits the button to wipe out Seoul, he knows that the rest of the nukes are coming.
Yeah, okay.
Right,
that's a good
and that's
scenario.
his one play, is to wipe out Seoul. Like, that's why I mean, like, different with China and Russia and us is, if someone sends a nuke here, we can send a nuke back, and that might be... we might get at a standstill, because the both of us would have... like, if Russia sends a nuke over here and we send one back, Russia knows the next one they send, we're sending one back, and we could get into, you know, we could go back and forth. But North Korea is not like that. North Korea's got a one play, and then it show's over, right? So that's why I'm wondering, like, when the nuke is in the air, that's why I mean, like, I wonder if the dudes who are holding the guns will fire them. I wonder if whoever the dude is that has to turn the key, if it's not Un, or whoever the other guy is that turns the key, I don't know if he would turn it. I don't know if whoever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if somewhere along the line there's somebody who's like, you know what, dude, this guy fucking sucks, and we're just not going to kill all those South Koreans, you know? Or like, my fucking brother escaped when he was 3, and I know he's living in Seoul. I'm not pulling the trigger. But even up to the top, to Un, if there's a nuke coming, he might have a chance to live. But if he hits that button to drop Seoul, that dude's definitely over.
Man,
that's his last
It'd
card.
be cool to have, like, the Matrix, so we could download the military analyst information into our heads right now. Like,
yeah.
Because I bet there's even a bunch of shit we're just, like,
well,
clearly
so
not thinking about. You know?
To me, I don't think it's true that you wouldn't know how many nukes were coming at you. I think you can actually detect them because they get picked up on, like, satellites and radar.
Yeah, I didn't say
like,
that he wouldn't know how many, but I mean,
plus,
at the time...
So even if you didn't know, though, I think that given the nature of what nuclear war strategy is, at least as far as I understand it, it's like you wipe them out with your first wave. You don't trade one after another. And like, okay, now I'm going to hit you. Okay, now what happens? You gonna hit me
but
back?
he
Okay,
doesn't have.
okay.
But they don't have that power. Like, when us in Russia and China and India, we have the wipeout power.
No, I agree.
But he doesn't
what
have
I'm
that.
saying is that if we were to attack them with nukes, I think that we would just wipe them out. I don't think that we'd be like, we think you're in this city. We're going to take out this. I think we would probably just wipe them out if we bit the bullet and fired it.
I don't know, but we didn't do that the first time.
I don't want to be classified in the we. I know that we're already not in the we. Like, none of us are pro nuclear
No.
country, but like,
If you get the fucking white man privilege of living in America, you're on that we, buddy. You don't get don't come full of bullshit. I don't like being in the we either.
No.
that is
but,
a very interesting way to look
Yeah.
at it. That you can feel free to explain to me if you want.
I'm just saying, we got to weigh it.
No, you're killing these people with me too.
If a guy that I didn't elect to a democracy that didn't actually elect him due to popular vote anyway, due to some contrived rules that I didn't make up, decided to nuke another country just because I'm white and live a pretty good life does not mean that I can't be like, I wasn't part of that. I would bail hard on that.
Yeah, but from now until he drops that nuke, you're fucking kind of living the dream as a white American. I mean, you've been living the dream for a long time. I don't want to bring up your stats or anything. You're a very good person. One of my favorite people that has ever existed in the world. But you're riding white guy pretty hard. I am too. I don't mean that as a criticism. But I mean, you're just fucking traipsing around the world with your pretty girlfriend like everything's fucking easy peasy. Fucking, well, the trip was actually pretty good. Oh yeah, I made a whole bunch of money. Fucking, yeah, dude, I mean, you know, I'm just saying. The things that America... we can't be jumping out of the fucking we. There are some people that might be able to, but if we nuke North Korea, we are complicit on, like, some level.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you the some level.
Yeah.
I'll give you that for sure. I have done a really bad job at changing my government, for sure.
Yeah, and have not gotten pulled over, like, every single time that you drove that you didn't get pulled over, you didn't get pulled over.
On a side note,
Therefore, responsible for nuclear war.
Well, we're just part of the we. I'm not saying he's responsible for nuclear war. I'm not putting these like dead bodies at his feet. I'm not like fucking. I'm not saying there's blood on his hands. I'm just saying it is the we.
Yeah, you're not Noam Chomsky-ing me. You're Noaming me. You're like getting me halfway there.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's a garden
all I'm
variety,
saying is it's hard for us. It would be hard if you were someone else to hear somebody like us be like,
note.
well, this isn't, he's not our president. But it's like, maybe. But America is pretty sweet, and you're living the finest fucking life that any white American in modern times is the best. White American male is the best of all the things that's happened.
And just
easiest. I don't mean best.
Like,
to be clear, I don't mean that they're the best ones. I mean that's the luckiest draw, the least amount that you have to do to by far the biggest payoff.
So what's worse about the fact that I don't get pulled over that often is that I have been pulled over 4 times in my life. Never gotten a ticket.
Of course not, dude. You're a white guy.
For all of those times, I was doing a thing that I should have gotten a ticket for. I once, I've only ever had one accident. It was a minor fender bender, but it was my fault. I didn't even get a ticket for that.
Yeah, you're a white guy.
The cop was like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "You're at fault," and then just didn't write me a ticket.
Yeah, white guy.
Yeah, it's
Who'd you rear end, Joe? Was it another white guy?
No, it was 3 sorority girls.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Probably driving like idiots. They're girls. Just fucking driving like idiots made you slam right into the back of them. Probably doing their makeup. Just slam right in the back of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. God, they don't know how to drive, so I slammed right into the back of them.
Yes. Okay, back to the point. The point of the whole thing. I think I'm not 100% sure that button gets hit. I'm definitely in the whatever the percentage is. We're like, hey, let's not roll those dice because it's a little close, and if we are wrong, it'll go terribly. Not for me. Again, I'm like I live in the so I'll be fine.
Dude.
Just to be clear, like NASA doesn't do things if the. I could be wrong about this.
You should say it anyways.
This number, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Like they don't even do stuff if it has like close to a 1% chance to fail. And they're talking about like sometimes things that are just launching like 2 to 3 people into space. And if it has anything that approximates a 1%, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. So I don't know what my percentage is. But it's that. Like, it doesn't have to be very big for me to be like, that's no go. That's and that's what I think that's what's effective about their threat. Besides a whole bunch of other things that make me not want to go to war. But yeah, it doesn't have to be 51. I guess is what.
Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say? 1% chance to kill 300 million people? Holy shit, that sounds bad. Holy shit.
Yeah, but you were going into World War II, right? And that shit wasn't 1%.
World War II, I would definitely go into.
That shit was like 70-30 when we went in,
and that's why I see some of the argument. I don't think the only reason that we went to World War II was the Holocaust, though, right? Like it was Holocaust and expansionism.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like as a person, if you were just a regular you, but back then, just regular American dude reading the paper, it wasn't 99%. And you would have supported that.
Yeah. Statistics wouldn't matter. I would have been like, we're going. Yeah. I think the combination of all those things matters a lot, though. All right, we're getting kind of close to time. Was there another point you wanted to finish on?
Was there a single point? What were we bringing up about this North Korea thing? What do we want to talk about?
Oh, it was just a good topic to talk about because it was in the news. I thought our president was a fucking idiot.
Oh, we just want to laugh about it? Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Well, we did that. All right, y'all. That is it for tonight. We are done talking Trump for now, but we are going to continue the conversation online. So if you're digging what you're hearing, if you think we said something dumb or you want to try to say something smart, get us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, wherever you hang out on the internet at A Strong Disagree. We appreciate you checking us out. Tell your friends if you like it. If you don't, shut your mouth. And for now, until next week, we will leave you in the capable, confident, and well-educated hands of Dr. Dog.